Top 5 foods that heal brain cells and restore memory. While you sleep, imagine for a moment that deep within the confines of your skull, a profoundly crucial biological process is quietly, almost imperceptibly, unfolding every single night. A process that for millions of individuals over the age of 60 begins to subtly falter night after night, often without them ever becoming consciously aware of its slow deterioration. This gradual decline is not a consequence of unfortunate genetic predisposition, nor is it merely an act of pure bad luck, nor does it stem from any glaring, obvious mistake they might have made. Rather, it is rooted in something far more commonplace and fundamentally controllable: the specific dietary choices they make, particularly what they choose to consume or deliberately omit from their meals before settling down to sleep. While this notion might initially strike you as overly simplistic, perhaps even improbable or too good to be true, I urge you to remain engaged, because by the time you reach the culmination of this exploration, you will possess an understanding of your own brain's intricate nocturnal workings in a way that remains elusive to the vast majority of people, and more crucially, you will be equipped with precise, actionable knowledge about what specific dietary adjustments you can implement, beginning as soon as tonight, to profoundly impact your cognitive future. Our journey commences with a fundamental question that is almost never pondered by most individuals. What precisely is your brain actively accomplishing during those hours you spend in slumber? Conventional wisdom often leads people to envision the brain as a complex machine that simply powers down, much like a computer entering a quiescent sleep mode, resting and engaging in minimal activity. However, the true biological reality presents a picture that is diametrically opposite to this common misconception. While your physical body remains utterly still and your conscious awareness gently recedes, your brain experiences an astonishing surge of activity, meticulously orchestrating and executing one of the most sophisticated and vital biological repair and maintenance systems that we have ever had the privilege to uncover. During this nocturnal period, your brain dedicates itself to an intensive regimen of self-cleaning, systematically repairing any cellular damage that has accumulated throughout the day, and meticulously rebuilding and strengthening the intricate neural connections that are absolutely essential for your ability to effortlessly recall names, engage in clear and articulate conversations, and awaken each morning feeling mentally sharp and invigorated. Yet, here lies the critical piece of information that most people regrettably never encounter. Subsequent to the age of 60, this entire magnificent system, responsible for brain maintenance and repair, begins its inexorable, quiet, and gradual weakening. This decline manifests itself slowly, without any overt or dramatic warning signs, and often progresses for many years before its insidious effects become undeniably noticeable to the individual or those around them. What renders this unfolding situation even more profoundly concerning is the stark fact that by the time overt symptoms, such as recurring forgetfulness, episodes of mental confusion, or a persistent, debilitating mental fog, finally make their unwelcome appearance, the underlying damage and deterioration have already been steadily accumulating and building for a considerable and often irreversible duration. However, there exists an even more astonishing and rarely discussed facet to this complex interplay, something that is seldom a topic of everyday conversations concerning brain health: the specific composition of the foods you ingest, particularly during the crucial hours immediately preceding sleep, directly and powerfully dictates whether this indispensable nightly repair system operates optimally and efficiently, or whether it slowly but surely begins its perilous descent into dysfunction and failure. The solution to supporting this vital system does not reside in expensive supplements or complicated, inaccessible medical treatments. Instead, it is found in real, wholesome, everyday foods that are readily available to everyone. And amongst the vast array of edible choices, there are 5 specific foods that distinguish themselves with unparalleled efficacy for their profound and powerful effects on the aging brain. Before we delve into the specifics of these remarkable foods, it is imperative that you first gain a clear and comprehensive understanding of the intricate mechanisms that are actually at play within your brain each night. Because once you grasp this biological process with absolute clarity, the proposed solution will not only make perfect logical sense, but will also become utterly impossible to disregard. Deep within the complex architecture of your brain operates a sophisticated system that neuroscientists have only relatively recently brought to light. For many decades, researchers were acutely aware that the brain, as a consequence of its normal metabolic and neural activities, continuously produces various waste byproducts, including damaged proteins and an array of toxic compounds that steadily accumulate throughout the waking hours of the day. Yet, for an extended period, the precise mechanism by which the brain efficiently eliminated this potentially harmful waste remained an enigmatic mystery. The profound answer, when it was finally uncovered through diligent research, proved to be nothing short of remarkable. During the deepest and most restorative stages of sleep, a specialized fluid known as cerebrospinal fluid rhythmically flows through the intricate neural pathways of the brain in a distinctive, wave-like motion, systematically flushing out cellular debris and metabolic waste, much like a gentle, cleansing current of water washing away accumulated sediment. This exquisitely designed system is now formally recognized as the glymphatic system. The precise and efficient functioning of this system each night plays an absolutely critical and pivotal role in determining whether your mind retains its sharp clarity and cognitive agility, or whether it slowly succumbs to being overwhelmed and inundated by its own accumulated metabolic waste. One of the most insidious and dangerous substances that this glymphatic system is tasked with clearing is a particularly problematic protein known as beta amyloid. You may have previously encountered this term due to its extremely strong and well-documented association with the development and progression of Alzheimer's disease. In a healthy brain that consistently receives an adequate amount of deep restorative sleep, this detrimental protein is efficiently and thoroughly flushed out night after night. However, when sleep quality is compromised and consistently poor, or when the brain is deprived of the specific and essential nutrients required to robustly support this vital cleansing process, beta amyloid begins its insidious accumulation. This buildup starts slowly and subtly at first, then steadily and progressively accelerates over time, accumulating relentlessly night after night, week after week, and year after year. And here is the sobering realization that should compel you to truly pause and reflect. This dangerous accumulation of beta amyloid commences long before any observable cognitive symptoms ever manifest, and long before even the slightest memory problems begin to emerge. By the time an individual finally perceives that something is amiss with their cognitive function, this silent and destructive process may have already been unfolding unnoticed within their brain for more than a decade. Thus, the crucial question that now becomes unavoidable is this: what tangible connection does this intricate glymphatic process and beta amyloid accumulation have to do with what you choose to eat for your evening meal? The answer, while remarkably simple, is profoundly powerful. Absolutely everything. The glymphatic system does not operate based on sheer willpower, positive motivation, or good intentions. Its entire functional capacity is inextricably dependent upon specific biological inputs. It absolutely requires a consistent supply of specific nutrients to function optimally. For instance, healthy fats are indispensable for maintaining the structural integrity and fluidity of brain cell membranes. A wide array of vitamins are essential for supporting efficient nerve signaling and communication. Various minerals are critical for regulating overall brain activity and electrical impulses. And specialized compounds are vital for controlling and mitigating inflammation and oxidative stress within the delicate neural environment. Without a sufficient and balanced supply of these critical biological components, the glymphatic system inevitably slows down, waste products begin to accumulate, and the brain you awaken with the following morning is, by a subtle margin, just slightly less efficient and functional than the one you possessed the night before. This incremental change, though initially small and almost imperceptible, accumulates into a significant decline when multiplied across hundreds of nights and compounded over many years. This is precisely how cognitive decline frequently manifests, not as a sudden and dramatic event, but rather as a gradual, quiet, and often unnoticed process of biological deterioration. Most people, unfortunately, never establish a causal link between this insidious decline and their everyday habits, especially their routine evening meals, until it is often too late to effectively reverse or mitigate the damage. However, you are now being presented with this crucial insight, and this heightened awareness alone places you in a uniquely advantageous and proactive position. There is yet another critical factor that renders this situation even more urgent and precarious, and that is chronic inflammation. While inflammation is a term people frequently encounter, its profound and detrimental implications within the delicate environment of the brain are rarely understood in a meaningful and comprehensive way. Inside the brain, inflammation is far from being merely a vague or abstract concept. It represents a tangible, measurable, and highly destructive biological force that actively interferes with nearly every single repair and maintenance process we have discussed thus far. Chronic, low-level inflammation specifically diminishes the brain's innate capacity to efficiently clear out metabolic waste, severely disrupts the quality and depth of restorative sleep, significantly weakens the crucial processes involved in memory formation, and even inflicts direct damage upon the vital energy-producing structures located within individual brain cells. And alarmingly, after the age of 60, this type of chronic low-level inflammation becomes extraordinarily common, particularly prevalent in individuals who are not actively consuming the specific array of nutrients necessary to effectively control and quell its destructive effects. What renders inflammation especially dangerous and insidious is its self-perpetuating nature. Poor quality sleep dramatically increases inflammation, and in turn, increased inflammation further severely disrupts sleep, thereby creating a vicious cycle that gradually but consistently accelerates the overall decline of optimal brain function. Every single food we are about to discuss plays a crucial and multifaceted role in effectively breaking this detrimental cycle, not by narrowly targeting just one isolated issue, but rather by comprehensively supporting the brain in a far more complete, balanced, and synergistic manner. However, the brain's nocturnal narrative does not conclude solely with the processes of cleaning and repair. Something equally profound and vital is concurrently transpiring while you are deep in slumber. As the brain meticulously clears out accumulated waste products, it is simultaneously engaged in the monumental task of organizing and consolidating everything you have experienced and learned during the preceding day. Every conversation you engaged in, every new face you encountered, every piece of information you absorbed, all of it is being diligently processed and categorized. The brain actively strengthens the neural connections that hold significant meaning and relevance, while judiciously pruning away those that are deemed redundant or unimportant. It systematically transfers crucial information from short-term memory into long-term storage, thereby making it significantly easier to recall and access later. This intricate and vital process is heavily reliant on the optimal chemical environment existing within your brain, including the balanced levels of your neurotransmitters, the structural integrity of your neural connections, and the sufficient availability of key nutrients required to robustly support them all. And here is where the trajectory of brain health takes another critical turn. Subsequent to the age of 60, this entire complex system, responsible for memory consolidation and neural organization, becomes demonstrably less efficient. Sleep cycles become increasingly disrupted and fragmented. The production of key brain chemicals, such as neurotransmitters, begins to decrease. Systemic inflammation measurably rises. The efficiency of nutrient absorption from the digestive system weakens considerably, and the tiny, vital energy-producing units located inside individual brain cells, known as mitochondria, begin to lose their optimal efficiency. These numerous changes do not occur in isolation. Rather, they interact synergistically and reinforce each other, thereby accelerating the overall pace of cognitive decline. But, and this is the single most important and truly empowering revelation, this process of age-related cognitive decline is not a fixed, predetermined, or inevitable outcome. Research studies consistently and unequivocally demonstrate that targeted and deliberate changes in diet and lifestyle can not only slow down this decline, but can also effectively halt it, and in many instances, even reverse certain aspects of this cognitive deterioration, even during the later decades of life. The brain is not a mere mechanical apparatus that simply wears out with prolonged use. It is an incredibly adaptable, dynamic, and responsive organ. It responds directly and profoundly to the inputs and resources you provide it with. And the specific foods we are about to meticulously explore represent some of the most effective and accessible ways to robustly support its enduring health and functionality. The first essential food, surprisingly, is something many people tend to overlook without a second thought. It is remarkably small, deceptively simple, and often unjustly ignored on grocery store shelves. Yet, when it comes to safeguarding and enhancing brain health, it stands as one of the most powerfully beneficial foods you can possibly incorporate into your diet. I am referring to sardines. At a superficial glance, sardines do not immediately strike one as particularly impressive or glamorous. They are not aggressively marketed as the latest superfood. They are decidedly not trendy, and they rarely feature prominently in contemporary conversations about memory enhancement or brain protection. However, when one delves into their actual nutritional composition, it becomes profoundly clear why leading scientists and nutritionists consistently highlight them as one of the absolute best dietary choices for supporting an aging brain. Sardines are exceptionally packed with two absolutely essential omega-3 fatty acids, docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, and eicosapentaenoic acid, EPA. These are not merely helpful nutrients, they are, in fact, fundamental and indispensable building blocks of the brain itself. DHA, in particular, constitutes a substantial portion of the structural framework of brain cell membranes. These membranes are far from being passive barriers. They actively control how crucial electrical signals traverse between neurons, dictate the efficiency with which information is processed, and profoundly influence how effectively different regions of the brain communicate with one another. When there is an insufficient supply of available DHA, these vital membranes begin to lose their inherent flexibility. They become increasingly rigid, less responsive, and significantly less capable of supporting the rapid and precise electrical and chemical signaling upon which sharp thinking and robust memory critically depend. Consider the profound implications of this. During sleep, when your brain is diligently striving to organize and consolidate memories and strengthen crucial neural connections, electrical signals must flow smoothly and unimpeded between neurons. But instead, they are forced to navigate through a system that has become subtly stiff and markedly less efficient. Over time, that seemingly small inefficiency inexorably accumulates. Memory recall becomes less reliable. The process of thinking feels noticeably slower, and overall mental clarity begins its gradual fade. And because the human body lacks the enzymatic machinery to produce sufficient quantities of DHA on its own, the only viable way to consistently maintain optimal levels is through diligent dietary intake. Sardines provide this vital nutrient in a highly bioavailable form that the body absorbs with remarkable efficiency, thereby making them one of the most reliable and potent dietary sources available. But the unparalleled benefits of sardines do not cease there. Sardines are also extraordinarily rich in vitamin B12, a crucial nutrient whose absorption becomes progressively more challenging as we advance in age. This particular vitamin plays an absolutely crucial role in meticulously maintaining the myelin sheath, which is the vital protective layer that encases and insulates nerve fibers. You can metaphorically envision myelin as the electrical insulation surrounding high-speed wiring. When it is robust, strong, and perfectly intact, electrical signals travel quickly, accurately, and without interference. However, when the myelin sheath begins to degrade or break down, those vital signals slow down considerably, weaken significantly, or even become entirely lost along their intricate neural pathways. This is one of the primary reasons why vitamin B12 deficiency is frequently and strongly linked to the onset of memory problems and pervasive cognitive decline in older adults. By providing a consistent and ample supply of B12, sardines directly contribute to protecting this essential neural insulation system. They facilitate faster, clearer, and more precise communication within the brain, thereby helping to preserve the cognitive precision that sharp thinking and mental acuity demand. And there is yet another practical advantage that makes sardines even more appealing and safer than many other types of fish. Because they are small in size and occupy a lower trophic level on the food chain, they inherently contain significantly lower levels of mercury compared to larger predatory fish like tuna or even certain varieties of salmon. This crucial distinction means that sardines can be consumed more frequently without genuine concern about mercury accumulation, making them an easy, safe, and highly beneficial addition to a regular weekly dietary routine. Consuming sardines 2 to 3 times per week is sufficient to engender a noticeable and positive difference over time, particularly when judiciously combined with other brain-supportive foods. Now, let us transition to the second powerful food, one that has undoubtedly gained considerable popularity in recent years, but whose full and profound impact on holistic brain health is still widely underestimated and misunderstood: the avocado. Most people typically perceive the avocado as a trendy culinary ingredient or simply a source of healthy fats to incorporate into their meals. However, its multifaceted role in vigorously supporting optimal brain function extends far beyond such simplistic notions. Avocados are abundantly rich in monounsaturated fats, precisely the same beneficial type of fat found in premium olive oil. These healthy fats play a pivotal and indispensable role in meticulously maintaining the structural integrity and fluidity of brain cells, while concurrently improving cerebral blood flow. Optimal blood flow might not be an immediate association people make with superior brain performance, but it is unequivocally absolutely essential. The brain, despite comprising only a small percentage of your overall body weight, commands and utilizes a disproportionately significant portion of your body's total oxygen and energy supply. Every single moment, it critically relies on a steady, robust supply of blood to efficiently deliver oxygen, glucose, its primary fuel source, and a wide array of other vital nutrients to its billions of highly active cells. When cerebral blood flow is even slightly reduced or compromised, the brain begins to operate under less than ideal, suboptimal conditions. It is akin to attempting to run a high-performance, precision-engineered machine without providing it with an adequate and consistent supply of its required fuel. Over an extended period, this chronic reduction in blood flow inevitably leads to pervasive mental fatigue, noticeably slower processing speed, and a significantly reduced efficiency in its crucial nightly repair processes. Avocado actively helps to ameliorate this detrimental situation by actively promoting healthier blood vessels and effectively reducing various factors that tend to restrict optimal circulation. This translates into a greater and more consistent delivery of oxygen and vital nutrients reaching the brain, particularly during the night, when its intrinsic repair and restoration mechanisms are operating at their absolute peak. But what renders avocado even more remarkably valuable is its exceptionally high folate content. Folate plays a central and indispensable role in a complex biochemical process known as methylation, While the term methylation may sound overtly technical and intimidating, its far-reaching effects are profoundly real and remarkably easy to comprehend in terms of their impact on brain health. Methylation directly influences how vital neurotransmitters, such as the mood-regulating serotonin and the motivation-enhancing dopamine, are produced and metabolized within the brain. These crucial chemicals directly impact your mood, your ability to focus and sustain attention, and your overall mental clarity. Furthermore, methylation precisely controls which specific genes within brain cells are activated or deactivated, including those genes directly responsible for cellular repair and protection against damage. Additionally, it actively assists the brain in repairing damage to its DNA, a phenomenon that occurs regularly and naturally due to normal metabolic activity and oxidative stress. When folate levels are consistently sufficient, these vital processes of methylation run smoothly and efficiently. However, when folate is deficient or lacking, the entire system becomes less stable and more vulnerable. Mood can become unpredictably volatile, sleep patterns can be severely disrupted, and memory recall may gradually and perceptibly weaken. Incorporating even half an avocado into your daily meals can provide a sufficient supply of folate to effectively support these critical processes. And when consumed in the evening as part of your dinner, it offers a steady, sustained release of healthy fats that actively assist in the transport of fat-soluble nutrients throughout the night, precisely when the brain's demand for them is at its zenith. It is not merely about what specific foods you eat, but rather the crucial timing of their consumption. And avocado, with its unique nutritional profile, fits perfectly into that optimal evening timing. Now, we arrive at the third essential food, something many individuals already routinely include in their diet, but often without fully appreciating its profound importance when utilized correctly and strategically: walnuts. Among all varieties of nuts, walnuts uniquely distinguish themselves for their extraordinary combination of nutrients that directly and powerfully support optimal brain function. They are notably rich in omega-3 fatty acids, similar in their beneficial profile to those found in sardines, but they also play a critical role in a lesser discussed yet incredibly important process for aging brains. This particular process involves diligently maintaining the health and functionality of mitochondria, which are the intricate and vital structures located inside every single cell, responsible for efficiently producing the energy that powers all cellular functions. Every single brain cell critically relies on healthy mitochondria to function properly and robustly. Without an adequate and consistent supply of cellular energy, even the most basic and fundamental neural processes begin to slow down and become impaired. Over an extended period, damaged and dysfunctional mitochondria can accumulate, progressively reducing the overall efficiency of brain cells and significantly increasing oxidative stress, a major contributor to cellular aging. The body possesses a sophisticated natural system to address this issue, meticulously identifying and removing damaged mitochondria so they can be replaced with healthier, more functional ones. In younger individuals, this crucial process, known as mitophagy, typically works with remarkable efficiency. However, as we age, its effectiveness gradually diminishes. Damaged mitochondria begin to accumulate, draining vital energy from brain cells and significantly contributing to overall cognitive decline. Walnuts contain specific compounds, including powerful antioxidants and polyphenols, that actively help to support this essential cellular cleanup process, thereby allowing cells to maintain a healthier and more efficient balance of energy production. This is particularly vital during sleep, when the brain is actively engaged in self-repair and demands a steady, uninterrupted supply of energy to execute these critical tasks effectively. In addition to this, the rich array of antioxidants and polyphenols present in walnuts actively helps to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, both of which are notorious for significantly interfering with optimal brain function. A small handful of walnuts consumed in the evening can provide consistent and sustained support for these vital systems, thereby helping the brain to maintain its robust energy levels and intrinsic resilience over time. And as you are beginning to discern, we are not merely discussing isolated benefits. Each of these remarkable foods is strategically addressing a different yet interconnected aspect of the same overarching system, be it structural integrity, cerebral blood flow, cellular energy production, or overall neural protection. And we are only halfway through our insightful exploration. The subsequent foods will further interconnect these intricate pieces and reveal how they synergistically work together in powerful ways that most people never fully consider. Now, we transition to the fourth pivotal food, and in many respects, this is where all the previously discussed benefits begin to powerfully converge and integrate. If there is one food on this entire list that simultaneously impacts multiple vital brain systems, supporting deep sleep, enhancing cerebral blood flow, improving memory function, and bolstering overall neuroprotection, it is undeniably spinach. Initially, it may not appear as potent or as exciting as some of the other foods we have discussed, but upon closer examination of its profound biological actions within the body, it becomes abundantly clear that spinach plays a central and indispensable role in maintaining the brain's optimal functionality, particularly during the crucial nocturnal hours when its intrinsic repair and restoration processes are operating at their absolute peak. Spinach is exceptionally rich in folate, much like avocado, but often in even higher and more concentrated amounts. This abundance means it directly and robustly supports optimal neurotransmitter production, thereby helping to effectively regulate mood, sustain focus, and enhance overall mental clarity. It also plays a key and critical role in the repair of DNA within brain cells, which is an utterly vital process because these delicate cells are constantly exposed to and challenged by oxidative stress throughout the waking hours of the day. Every single thought, every action, every moment of metabolic activity subtly creates small amounts of damage at the cellular level. And without proper and consistent repair mechanisms, that insidious damage gradually accumulates over time. Spinach actively helps the brain to stay proactively ahead of this detrimental process. But what truly distinguishes spinach and sets it apart is its remarkable magnesium content. Magnesium is, without question, one of the most overlooked and critically underappreciated nutrients when it comes to supporting comprehensive brain health. Yet, it exerts a direct, profound, and powerful effect on the quality and restorative capacity of sleep. It actively helps to regulate and calm the nervous system, effectively reducing excessive neural activity and thereby allowing the brain to smoothly and deeply transition into the crucial restorative stages of sleep. And those deep stages of sleep are precisely where the most important and transformative repair work is diligently performed, where the glymphatic system reaches its maximal activity and where memory consolidation achieves its peak efficiency. In individuals who do not consume sufficient magnesium, a deficiency that is extraordinarily common in adults, particularly those over 60, sleep becomes noticeably lighter, more fragmented, and less restorative. The brain struggles considerably to consistently attain and maintain these vital deeper sleep phases, which inevitably means that the critical cleaning, repair, and memory consolidation processes are repeatedly interrupted and compromised. Over time, this chronic interruption leads to a gradual and dangerous buildup of waste products and a measurable decline in overall cognitive performance. Spinach actively helps to correct this imbalance by supporting a more stable, prolonged, and restorative sleep pattern, thereby providing the brain with the precise and optimal conditions it desperately needs to function properly throughout the night. Beyond its crucial magnesium content, spinach also contains natural nitrates, which the body efficiently converts into nitric oxide. This remarkable compound actively helps to relax and widen blood vessels, thereby significantly improving circulation throughout the entire body, including the brain. Enhanced cerebral blood flow translates directly into a more robust and consistent delivery of oxygen and essential nutrients exactly where they are most critically needed, especially during periods of heightened metabolic activity, such as the intensive nighttime repair cycles. It also considerably enhances the brain's innate ability to absorb glucose, which serves as the primary and most vital energy source for neurons, diligently working to rebuild and strengthen their intricate connections. Spinach goes even further in its multifaceted benefits by providing a substantial supply of vitamin K, which actively supports the formation of specialized fats that constitute the myelin sheath, that critical protective layer around nerve fibers that ensures fast, precise, and efficient signal transmission. And it also contains vitamin E, a potent antioxidant that vigilantly protects delicate brain cell membranes from harmful oxidative damage. This crucial protection becomes especially paramount during sleep, when the brain is actively repairing itself and requires the utmost integrity of its cellular structures to function optimally. Interestingly, the method by which spinach is prepared also significantly influences its nutritional bioavailability. Lightly cooking spinach subtly breaks down certain compounds that can otherwise interfere with mineral absorption, thereby making vital nutrients like magnesium more readily available for uptake by the body. A generous serving of cooked spinach incorporated into your dinner is one of the most effective and accessible ways to simultaneously support multiple critical brain functions, particularly for anyone striving to maintain enduring mental clarity and sharp memory over the long term. Now we arrive at the fifth and final extraordinary food on our list. And this particular food possesses the remarkable ability to take many of the benefits we have already meticulously discussed and amplify them even further, conferring an even greater advantage to the aging brain. This exceptional food is mackerel. If sardines are recognized as the steady, reliable, and consistent source of essential healthy fats, then mackerel can be aptly described as their more concentrated, richer, and more potent counterpart, perfectly aligned with the nuanced nutritional requirements of the aging brain during its vital nightly repair cycles. Mackerel is exceptionally high in beneficial omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA and EPA, boasting levels that often surpass those found in many other fish. And these powerful fats do far more than merely support the structural integrity of brain cells. They also possess profound and powerful anti-inflammatory effects directly within the delicate environment of the brain itself. This anti-inflammatory action is especially critical because chronic inflammation, as we extensively discussed earlier, stands as one of the primary and most destructive factors that actively disrupt deep sleep, inflict damage upon neurons, and severely interfere with the brain's intrinsic capacity to efficiently repair itself. Inside the brain, there exist specialized immune cells, known as microglia, which are designed to vigilantly protect and maintain neural balance. However, when these cells become overactive and dysregulated, a common and problematic issue associated with the aging process, they begin to release an array of substances that can actually cause significant harm to delicate brain tissue. This creates a vicious and self-perpetuating cycle where inflammation leads to further damage, which in turn triggers even more inflammation. The abundant omega-3s found in mackerel actively help to interrupt and break this destructive cycle, effectively bringing the brain's delicate immune system back into a state of optimal balance and significantly reducing unnecessary stress on vital brain cells. Mackerel also plays a crucial role in supporting the production and maintenance of a vital compound that is absolutely essential for sustained learning and robust memory formation. This remarkable compound actively promotes the growth of new neural connections, significantly strengthens existing ones, and robustly supports the brain's innate capacity to adapt and respond effectively to new information and experiences. In simpler terms, it functions much like a powerful growth factor for the brain, helping it to remain flexible, adaptable, and highly responsive, rather than gradually becoming rigid and slow over the course of time. And one of the most reliable and effective ways to consistently maintain healthy levels of this critical compound is through the regular and consistent dietary intake of omega-3 fatty acids. Incorporating mackerel into your diet once or twice a week, ideally alongside sardines, establishes a consistent and robust supply of these indispensable healthy fats. This dietary consistency is precisely what empowers the brain to diligently maintain its optimal structure, effectively reduce chronic inflammation, and robustly support the intricate processes that keep memory sharp and thinking profoundly clear. At this juncture, you might be contemplating the individual benefits of each of these foods, how sardines contribute to structural integrity, how avocado enhances cerebral blood flow, how walnuts bolster cellular energy production, how spinach improves sleep quality and provides neuroprotection, and how mackerel powerfully reduces inflammation. However, here is where the true transformative insight begins to emerge, and it is a crucial understanding that most people regrettably completely overlook. These foods are not intended to function in isolated silos. They are, in fact, integral components of a synergistic biological system. And when combined thoughtfully, they collaboratively create an internal environment within the body, and most specifically, within the brain, that is far more potent and effective than any single food could ever achieve on its own. Each of these remarkable foods strategically targets a different yet interconnected layer of the same overarching challenge, and together they provide comprehensive support to the brain in a manner that feels almost exquisitely coordinated and harmonious. Sardines and mackerel work synergistically to strengthen and meticulously maintain the physical structure of brain cells, while simultaneously reducing systemic inflammation. Avocado improves vital cerebral blood flow and supports the delicate balance of essential brain chemicals. Walnuts contribute significantly to maintaining optimal energy production by robustly supporting healthy cellular function, particularly mitochondrial health. Spinach enhances the quality and restorative capacity of sleep, further improves circulation, and vigilantly protects delicate brain cells from oxidative damage. And when all of these powerful elements are working in concert and harmony, the profound result is a comprehensively supported system that optimizes cellular repair, enhances mental clarity, and fosters long-term cognitive resilience. But there remains one final, utterly critical piece to this intricate puzzle, a piece that most people never truly consider, and it possesses the profound potential to dramatically alter the overall effectiveness of everything we have discussed. And that is timing. We will meticulously explore this crucial aspect in the forthcoming segment, because when you gain a deep understanding not only of what specific foods to consume, but also of the optimal timing for their ingestion, everything you have learned thus far becomes exponentially more powerful and impactful. Now we arrive at the segment that quietly but profoundly reshapes everything you have just learned, and it is an aspect most people regrettably never pay adequate attention to, even if they are well versed in all the right foods. I am referring to the paramount importance of timing. It is not merely a matter of what specific foods you choose to eat, but critically, when you choose to eat them. The timing of your meals, particularly in the evening, exerts a direct and measurable impact on how effectively and efficiently your brain can utilize those vital nutrients during its crucial nocturnal repair and restoration cycles. You could assiduously include all 5 of these beneficial foods in your weekly routine, yet still potentially miss a significant portion of their profound therapeutic benefits if they are consumed haphazardly or randomly throughout the day, without any thoughtful consideration for when your brain actually requires them the most. Consider for a moment what precisely transpires in the hours following your evening meal. As you gradually transition towards sleep, your body initiates a systemic shift into a different physiological mode. Digestion naturally slows down, hormonal balances subtly change, and the brain meticulously prepares itself to enter the deep and restorative stages of sleep, which are precisely where the most important and transformative repair processes are diligently executed. This specific temporal window is exactly when the glymphatic system becomes most active and efficient, when the vital process of memory consolidation reaches its peak, and when the brain urgently requires a steady, readily available supply of essential nutrients to perform all of this intricate work with optimal efficiency. If the crucial nutrients your brain depends upon are already actively circulating in your bloodstream during this critical nocturnal window, everything operates significantly more smoothly and effectively. The healthy fats necessary to maintain the fluidity and structural integrity of cell membranes are readily available. The vitamins required for optimal neurotransmitter function are present in ample supply. The minerals that powerfully support deep and restorative sleep are actively engaged. The compounds that effectively reduce inflammation are already in place and exerting their beneficial effects. In essence, you are not asking your body to store nutrients for later use. Instead, you are delivering them precisely at the moment when the brain's demand for them is at its absolute highest. This is precisely why strategically consuming these brain-supportive foods in the evening as an integral component of your dinner generates a profoundly different and superior level of impact compared to scattering their consumption randomly throughout the day. This approach precisely aligns nutrient availability with the brain's peak biological need, and for an aging body where nutrient absorption and overall metabolic efficiency are often already somewhat reduced, this strategic alignment becomes even more critically important. Every seemingly small advantage begins to matter more, and these accumulating advantages start to build synergistically upon each other. Consider a practical and compelling example: an evening meal that thoughtfully includes mackerel, a generous portion of cooked spinach, and half an avocado is not merely a generally healthy meal in a broad sense. Rather, it actively creates a specific and highly beneficial internal biochemical environment within your body. Within a mere few hours, the fatty acid profile in your bloodstream undergoes a positive shift. The systemic availability of crucial magnesium and folate dramatically increases. Blood vessels in the brain begin to relax and dilate, thereby improving circulation. Inflammatory signals begin to noticeably decrease. All of these profound and beneficial changes commence during the very same night, not weeks later, and they directly and powerfully influence how effectively your brain performs its vital nightly work. This is what renders the entire process so incredibly powerful and compelling. The positive effects are not distant or delayed. They are immediate and measurable at the biochemical level. And when these dietary choices are repeated consistently over time, they begin to compound exponentially. One night of measurable improvement leads to another, and then another, gradually building a robust and resilient pattern that consistently supports superior brain function over the long term. The profound difference between an individual who follows this dietary pattern only occasionally and someone who adheres to it consistently becomes remarkably clear when one examines the long-term cognitive outcomes. A person who consciously eats this way 2 or 3 nights a week is already moving in a significantly better direction, providing their brain with substantially more support than it would otherwise receive. However, someone who diligently follows this pattern 5 or 6 nights a week is actively constructing a much stronger, more stable, and more resilient foundation for their cognitive health. Over the course of weeks and months, that unwavering consistency begins to physically and functionally reshape the brain itself, its intricate structure, its overall efficiency, and its intrinsic ability to effectively repair and protect itself from age-related decline. It is imperative to understand that this approach is not about striving for unattainable dietary perfection. Rather, it is about establishing and maintaining consistent beneficial patterns. One well-balanced dinner, while certainly helpful, represents only a single step. A consistent and sustained pattern of supportive and nutrient-dense meals is what truly creates meaningful and lasting change. It is analogous to the difference between merely hearing a single musical note and experiencing the immersive beauty of an entire symphony. The full and profound effect only becomes clear over time as each individual part builds harmoniously upon the last. This principle is also precisely where whole foods unequivocally demonstrate their true and undeniable advantage over isolated dietary supplements. It is not to suggest that supplements are inherently useless. They can indeed possess genuine value in specific targeted situations. However, they simply cannot replicate the profound complexity, intricate synergy, and holistic efficacy of real, unprocessed whole foods. When you consume something as natural and wholesome as spinach, avocado, or walnuts, you are not merely ingesting a single, isolated nutrient. Instead, you are benefiting from a sophisticated and synergistic combination of a multitude of vitamins, essential minerals, healthy fats, dietary fiber, and a vast array of bioactive compounds that intricately interact with each other in ways that collectively enhance their overall beneficial effect. For example, the healthy fats intrinsically present in avocado and sardines actively assist your body in absorbing fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamin E from spinach far more effectively. The dietary fiber abundant in spinach profoundly influences how other nutrients are processed within the digestive system, thereby significantly improving their overall bioavailability to the body. The complex compounds found in walnuts interact beneficially with the gut microbiome in ways that facilitate the creation of additional substances that further benefit brain health, highlighting the crucial gut-brain axis. These intricate interactions are layered, multidimensional, and profoundly interconnected, and they simply cannot be accurately reproduced or encapsulated in a single capsule or powdered formula. This is precisely why a focused emphasis on whole foods, particularly when consumed in the right combinations and with optimal timing, consistently produces results that feel more complete, more balanced, and ultimately more sustainable for long-term brain health. You are not merely targeting one single biological pathway. You are simultaneously supporting multiple interconnected systems at once, thereby empowering the body to function in a more balanced, harmonious, and highly efficient manner. And when you judiciously combine this whole foods approach with proper timing, by consciously incorporating these beneficial foods into your evening routine, you begin to forge a powerful and synergistic alignment between what your body receives and what your brain critically needs during its most vital period of repair. This profound shift is not about implementing extreme or overly complicated dietary regimens. Rather, it is about making deliberate, informed, and conscious choices within a part of your day that most people habitually treat as a mere routine, often without any deeper consideration. Now, take a moment to truly reflect on what this profound understanding means in practical, tangible terms for your daily life. Every single evening, you are presented with a decision that directly and unequivocally affects how your brain will function and repair itself throughout the night. Most people, tragically, remain entirely unaware of this profound connection. They typically select their evening meals based on ingrained habit, mere convenience, or fleeting taste preferences, without any genuine consideration for the long-term, cumulative impact these choices will have on their cognitive well-being. But once you fully grasp and understand the intricate biological processes that are truly happening, those seemingly mundane dietary choices begin to carry immense weight and significance. You are no longer merely deciding what to eat. You are, in effect, actively deciding how effectively your brain will repair itself, how efficiently it will clear out accumulated waste, how strongly it will consolidate and store precious memories, and how clearly and sharply you will think the very next day. And when you view your dietary choices from this empowering and enlightened perspective, even the smallest, most incremental changes begin to feel profoundly more meaningful and impactful. Yet there remains one final culminating piece to this intricate puzzle, and it is the one that truly brings everything together, because this isn't solely about individual nights or isolated dietary choices. It is fundamentally about the long-term trajectory and direction you are consciously setting for the future health and vitality of your brain. Now let us meticulously bring everything together, because what you have absorbed thus far transcends a mere collection of disparate ideas about food or sleep. It represents a complete and transformative paradigm shift in how you fundamentally understand your own brain and the deeply personal, active role you inherently play in meticulously shaping its future. For the vast majority of people, the prospect of cognitive decline feels like something distant, abstract, and ultimately unavoidable, an unfortunate consequence inextricably tied to the passage of age that simply happens over time. However, what you now comprehensively understand is profoundly different and empowering. The brain is not passively aging, a mere victim of chronology. On the contrary, it is actively and continuously responding every single day to the specific inputs and resources it consistently receives. And one of the most powerful and accessible of those inputs is something as seemingly ordinary and routine as your evening meal. Cutting-edge research consistently and unequivocally demonstrates that the brain retains a remarkable capacity for adaptability and plasticity, even during the later decades of life. Individuals in their 70s and 80s who make deliberate, targeted changes to their diet, particularly by consistently incorporating nutrient-dense whole foods, like the ones we have meticulously discussed, often experience measurable and tangible cognitive improvements. These are not merely theoretical benefits or vague, unfulfilled promises, but rather real, observable changes in memory recall, mental clarity, overall sleep quality, and a profound increase in general mental energy. These invaluable improvements manifest themselves vividly in daily life, in conversations that flow with greater ease and articulation, in thoughts that come more quickly and sharply, and in a renewed sense of mental acuity and sharpness that many people mistakenly assume is irrevocably lost with advancing age. This profound regeneration occurs because the brain is ceaselessly striving to repair and restore itself. Every single night, as you surrender to sleep, it recommences this vital process, diligently clearing out metabolic waste, meticulously rebuilding and strengthening neural connections, and steadfastly restoring optimal function. It never ceases this essential work, regardless of your chronological age. What fundamentally changes is how effectively it can perform these critical tasks. And that effectiveness, in turn, depends largely and directly on whether it is consistently supplied with the right and sufficient resources. When those vital resources are lacking, the entire intricate system struggles and falters. Conversely, when they are abundantly present and optimally balanced, the system functions precisely as it was ingeniously designed to. And that brings us back to a simple yet profoundly powerful truth. The crucial decision about whether your brain receives those essential resources is made not in a sterile doctor's office and not in some abstract future plan, but rather at your very own dinner table, through choices that may feel small and insignificant in the moment, but carry monumental long-term consequences. For many years, most people make those critical choices without conscious thought, relying on ingrained habit or sheer convenience, never truly realizing how much is actually at stake. But now you perceive it with unparalleled clarity. You possess a deep understanding of what intricate processes unfold within your brain during the night. You comprehend how the glymphatic system critically depends on deep restorative sleep, and optimal nutrition for its cleansing function. You are aware of how chronic inflammation actively interferes with crucial repair mechanisms and how specific foods help to effectively mitigate it. You understand how the vital process of memory consolidation relies on a stable and balanced chemical environment, robustly supported by the precise nutrients you provide, and you now know that the specific foods you choose, sardines, mackerel, avocado, walnuts, and spinach, each play a distinct yet interconnected role in powerfully supporting these multifaceted processes. More importantly, you grasp that they work best when synergistically combined, not as isolated fixes, but as integral components of a larger, harmonized system. A system that meticulously supports structural integrity, dramatically improves cerebral blood flow, diligently maintains cellular energy, effectively reduces chronic inflammation, significantly enhances sleep quality, and vigilantly protects delicate brain cells from damage. When all of these essential elements are thoughtfully in place, the brain is empowered to accomplish what it has always been inherently designed and striving to do: to heal, to adapt, and to continuously improve. So now, the profound question becomes deeply personal. Every single evening, you are confronted with a choice. It may not feel particularly significant in the immediate moment, but it directly and powerfully determines how well your brain will function and repair itself while you sleep. Most people in their everyday lives never conceptualize it this way. They consume whatever is readily available, whatever is familiar, without making the vital connection to the complex and critical events that transpire hours later within their minds. But you are no longer in that uninformed position. You now possess a clear and comprehensive understanding of the intricate relationship between cause and effect. You know with certainty that what you consume tonight will profoundly influence how effectively your brain clears out accumulated waste, how robustly it strengthens and solidifies memories, and how much cellular damage it can successfully repair before the break of morning. This is not an abstract philosophical idea or a fleeting motivational phrase. It is a fundamental biological reality, rigorously supported by scientific research and consistently observed in tangible, real-world outcomes. And once you truly internalize that understanding, it fundamentally changes how you perceive even the simplest daily decisions. Dinner is no longer merely about satisfying immediate hunger. It transforms into a powerful and conscious opportunity to actively support one of the most important and complex systems in your entire body, a precious chance to proactively provide your brain with precisely what it needs at the exact moment it needs it most. There is also an immensely empowering aspect to this realization. It signifies that no matter your current age and irrespective of your past dietary habits, you still possess profound influence over the future direction your brain is heading. You are not locked into a predetermined fixed path of inevitable decline. You are not simply passively waiting for cognitive deterioration to happen. Instead, you are actively and powerfully shaping what comes next through consistent, deliberate, and informed choices. This transformative process does not demand extreme or overly complicated changes. It begins with heightened awareness and meticulously builds through consistent repetition. Even a single meal that thoughtfully includes 2 or 3 of these beneficial foods represents a significant step in the right direction. Consistently repeating that beneficial pattern over time is what ultimately creates a lasting and profound impact. The brain, being an adaptable organ, responds remarkably well to consistency, and over the course of weeks and months, those repeated conscious choices begin to reshape its very structure and how it functions. So, take a moment and deeply reflect on this profound insight. Every single night, your brain is diligently working on your behalf, exerting every effort it can to restore, repair, and protect itself. It is not demanding anything unrealistic or unattainable. It is simply responding directly and predictably to the resources you provide it with. The only remaining question then is whether you are consistently giving it precisely what it needs to succeed and thrive. Because now, armed with this knowledge, you cannot unknow this fundamental truth. You now understand the entire intricate system, from the vital glymphatic process tirelessly clearing waste to the indispensable role of specific nutrients in meticulously maintaining neural structure and function, to the paramount importance of precise timing in delivering those crucial nutrients when they matter most. That profound knowledge will forever stay with you, and it inevitably leads to one final, yet profoundly simple question. A question that appears innocuous on the surface, but carries immense weight and significance once you fully grasp the deep biological reality behind it. What are you going to have for dinner tonight?